Good afternoon and welcome to Finding the Joy in the Journey. My name is Gina Kovario-Krupka and I am a practitioner, blessed to be part of this wonderful prayer team here at New Thought Media Network, as well as the spiritual director of CSL Greater Boston. And I am so happy to be here as the host of this show where we talk about finding the joy in your journey. Because it's already there. It's not someplace else. Nothing has to change for you to shift your consciousness to who you truly are. We live in a society with a lot of distractions. There's a lot that we see, especially this week, that sometimes we feel like joy is something that we may never have again, that it's not real, it's elusive. But the truth is, everything we need, we were born with. And it's learning how to acquire, remember, and utilize the skills that we have to really live our true nature. And that's why I'm so excited today, because we are here to talk about just that. Our guest today is just amazing. I had a retreat with her and I knew instantly she needed to be here talking about joy because she exudes it. She has tremendous light that just shines. So we are blessed today to have Rev Cynthia James, and she is just incredible. She's a woman that, as an ordained minister, she's a transformational coach, inspirational leader, speaker, beautiful singer and musician. She guides people to make change at a deep level for lasting healing. She truly has a gift to help people become. And that's one of the things that she embodies. She is not what she's done. She is what she has become. And she teaches leaders how to be who they truly are. And we are each leaders. We each are living in this time for a reason. And that is the purpose. So I bring in, with so much joy in my heart, Reverend Cynthia James. Welcome.
Nice to see you. Nice to be with you, Gina.
I am so grateful to have you here. And you instantly said yes. And I appreciate that so much and made time to be here to shine your light, because to me, it is radiant. There's a conviction in how you do what you do that makes it easy to embody. I believe you. It's not just about, plenty of people can talk about what to do, but you've lived it. You've lived through a difficult childhood. You lived through whatever pain it took to be the empathetic, understanding leader that you are today. And it shines through in everything that you do. And that is why you are a best-selling author. That is why you are an amazing musician. And we're going to talk a little bit about that as we go along. But I am just so grateful. I know we were speaking a little earlier, and you spent 11 years as the associate minister at Mile High. You spent years at Agape, and you have done so much in the New Thought world. And thank you for being here.
Well, I'm honored to be here and grateful. It's wonderful to see what you're doing and that you're bringing light to the Eastern Seaboard.
Yes, the Northeast, absolutely. We are here. We are definitely growing. We're creeping our way up. We had this New Jersey, New York, there's several, CSL in Jersey, there's a couple. And as we go up, there's one in Connecticut, one in Rhode Island, one in, we're getting there. We're one in Massachusetts, a teaching chapter and a center. So we're getting there. We're getting there. Knowing that, spirit is wherever any of us are, and that there's only one, how can it not shine? How can it not shine as a beacon?
That's exactly right.
And there's so much. I know for me, it was one of your conferences. It was we had a weekend retreat basically, and it was for ministerial leaders that you were speaking to, and you have do so much work around self-care and owning who and whose you are. And I would love for you to speak a little bit about that. I know I pulled out a few things that I loved, but in general, why do you feel that is so important? How is it that you fell into teaching that?
Uh, you teach what you need to learn. And it was really interesting because I've always been a high achiever, but if you only have this one thing called body, that's your temple. And if you don't care for it, if you don't love it and honor it, then it won't support you in all the things you've come here to do. And so it took me a few kind of, the universe sitting me down lessons to learn that I had to stop looking for validation through accomplishment outside of myself. And I had to really look at what supported this temple. I'm from 5 generations of women who were abused and traumatized, and every single one of them left the planet overweight, depressed, ill, and had massive amounts of abuse in relationships. And because I had been walking this path, I thought, well, I don't have that issue, except my adrenals went crazy and I had to take a sabbatical, and I was about 35 pounds heavier than I am today. And during that 3 months, I had to be with me because you can't be on phone and you can't be on email. You have to be with yourself. And the whole thing was, what was I still hiding, or what was I really hungry for? What was I really doing that was pushing the envelope so that I wasn't sleeping and resting? And it was during that 3 months that I said, I have to change my lifestyle. And so it became a part of my work with my clients. It became part of the work in my talks and my webinars. It was like every single person on this planet is needed. But the healthier we are, the stronger we are, the more vital we are, the more vibrant we are, the better our beneficial presence becomes.
So true. Because we teach people most by who we are and how we act. It's not about what we say. I know for me, I can teach a class on self-care, but it doesn't mean that I'm taking care of myself. I taught for years. I've been a licensed life coach for 15 years, 20 years, and it's one of those things that I could teach, but it doesn't mean I practiced everything that I was learning. And I just want to mention, we are live. We would love to hear comments. So anybody that's out there, feel free for any questions, any comments, anything that you have, just let us know. We'd love for you to join us with that. And, when we were going through some of the things that you had talked about that really spoke to me, it really, they weren't things that I've been in this type of motivational speaking. I've been doing it since I was 15. So that you could have heard things, you could have said them 100 times. But if someone says it in the right place at the right time, you can embody it.
That's exactly right.
And a couple of the things that really, you teach people how to treat you. Yeah. I love that. And we know, it really is. We're giving them permission.
That's right. If you don't have clear boundaries, if you don't ask for what you need, if you don't stand in the truth of who you are and in integrity with your soul, then people will respond to what they see and what they experience. And a lot, especially, I do a lot of work with women, and there's so much stigma around us being powerful and standing up and bringing our voices, and then, but if we don't, then people think, well, then we can be a doormat, or they can treat us any way they desire. If we don't say no, the answer is no. And so that was a huge lesson for me, because when I looked at, I say that relationships are a path of discovery for me. When I looked at every relationship, I was the common denominator. So therefore, I was not a victim of anything. I taught those people how to treat me. If I wanted to change, I had to change.
And it's amazing when we see the patterns, when we're able to get out of the middle of the muck. Sometimes it takes a sabbatical, which for some of us, that's health concerns. The only thing that could have slowed me down was because I couldn't move anymore. For me, it took 2 cancer surgeries for me to finally stop and say, okay, something's got to be different. And all of a sudden life changed and I saw things differently. But it wasn't because I thought, oh, I need to change something. It was because I physically couldn't move. Life stopped me. That's why I feel so passionate about teaching or talking about it, so that people don't have to get to that point.
Yes. Yeah. It's really interesting. My children, I learned pretty early that they didn't listen to what I said. They watched what I did.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the same is true for spiritual leaders and teachers and guides and coaches and counselors. It's like people watch, are you walking your talk? And so if you are out of alignment, then it's not, the out of alignment isn't just happening to you, it's being witnessed.
And it's copied.
Yes.
It is. It really is. Another thing that is worth repeating again and again: no is a complete sentence.
Yeah.
I don't have to explain myself. I don't have to justify. And I still at times I raised a people pleaser. I was raised to be that caretaker. So saying no to someone it's not easy for a lot of us, especially the nurturing women that we're taught to be those people pleasers.
Well, listen, until the early 1900s, women were considered property, and our only job was to nurture and birth children and take care of the home. And if you look at history, when women started saying, well, no, I want the right to vote, oh no, I want to work, oh no, the whole system went crazy, and we're watching it reoccur now. The thing is that is like, we all get to choose. We all have the right to choose. And no is a choice. I don't want to go there. And the thing is it doesn't make me unlovable if I don't want to do it. It doesn't make me a place that needs to feel guilty if I don't want to go there. I get to say, I'm sorry, this doesn't work for me. And oh, by the way, how about I take care of myself first? And then I honor you, and then I support you, because there is a misnomer that women's frequency is better if they put everybody first and take care of everybody else. And it's backwards, because the more we take care of ourselves, the higher our frequency, and the higher the frequency of the environment in which we occupy. So I feel like learning to say no was massive for me. And for me, it was especially massive because I was abused as a kid, and you weren't allowed to say no. You got punished if you stood up and fought back or said no. So I had to overcome the stuff of the women and the abuse in order to find my own voice.
And the third point I wanted to make, that you had said, that really, if you don't manage your energy will manage you.
Yeah. The universe will sit you down. The thing is, what I love about this body that we have is it's a tremendous computer. It has a language, it has energy, and it's always communicating. But if you don't listen to it, if I mean, those of us who are high achievers, we will push through anything. Well, I'll get to that, and I'll work through this, and I'll create this, and I'll do that. And your body goes, we're a little tired. Maybe we should rest. Oh, maybe we should eat. Maybe we shouldn't eat that sugar. Oh, maybe you should exercise. And we're like tunnel visioned, right? And so the energy goes, well, she's not listening to me. I'm going to help her. I'm going to give her a cold. I'm going to mess with her adrenals. I'm going to whatever, right? So that it's, I don't think we create illness. I think what we do is we do not listen to the messages from the universe telling us how to care for ourselves.
Well, something's got to give in the chain. There's only so much pull, and eventually something gives. And if we're not listening, it ends up being us. It ends up being the body, And yeah, you spent a lot of time, which I really appreciated. You had us write a letter to our body. Mm-hmm. And, and with the guided meditations that went with it. And it was so transforming, and so many. For years, I didn't listen. There was so much pain and there was a lot of physical stuff, plenty of diagnosis to go with it and all the stuff that goes. But the truth is, I would not pay attention. Mm-hmm. And if you don't pay attention, it gets louder. And yes, it gets louder. And it gets louder. And it gets to the point that the ability gets smaller and smaller. So it was just a wonderful, you really encourage a relationship with our physical vessel, and it's honoring. One of the things that I do when I put on lotion, I thank my body. Thank you for nurturing me when I haven't nurtured you. And I really am in this place of honoring my body, because if there is any seeming limitation, it's because I haven't nurtured it along the way at times. And it doesn't mean it's staying. It's a temporary thing until I get to the place of restore. The restoration is mental. We know this. So it's getting any seeming blockages out of the way and putting it first. Because if I've got nothing in the tank, the car doesn't drive.
That's right.
It's that simple. But we know that with a car, and we joke about it. But how many of us make sure that we have our nutritious meals planned and ready to go out the door, just like we check our gas tank?
Yeah, but you know what, Gina? I think part of it is that we're not taught to manage our emotions, because the emotions are running those choices. Yes. And so if we're not dealing with the abuse, the trauma, the fears, the doubts, the anxiety, the lack of confidence, the lack of self-love, if we're not dealing with those things, it becomes very difficult to listen, because all that undercurrent is pulling on us and finding ways for us to protect ourselves. So whether that's food or sex or drugs or alcohol, whatever it is, it's like, it's all because there's some part of us that is asking for healing.
Yes. Yes. And I want to just mention, because you have this is your website, cynthiajames.net, and I encourage people to write it down and go to it, because you have so much wonderful information on it. Not just your books, but you're a beautiful musician. You have a gorgeous voice. We're actually going to play one of your new sneak peek songs, which I'm excited about towards the end. But I want to make sure I mention, you have a CD on there that has helped me personally, that I downloaded. As soon as I heard 2 of the songs off it, I was like, that's it. I immediately went there. And it's Inward Journey is the CD. And it's all guided meditations, where you do take that time in the morning, in the evening, to connect, on a soul level with our physical vessel. It is so sacred. And I thank you for that. What a beautiful practice. We all don't have to be good at everything. We just need to find someone else that is and adopt it.
Thank goodness. Oh, thank goodness. Because we all need teachers. We all need healers. We all need coaches. We all need support.
Yes. So thank you for that, because it's a wonderful It's all about getting into a routine that's going to serve us best. And we're not in a, we're just learning how, a lot of us, to understand, to really at a cellular level understand that self-care is mandatory, not optional. It is not selfish.
No, no. And it's, people now are living longer. And I think how we live longer is the choice we make, because it's how we nurture our bodies and our minds and our spirits that allow us to age consciously.
Yes. And part of that consciousness is when stuff happens in life, how do we deal with it?
That's right.
And there's stuff that happens if you have adult children. Boy, oh boy, they will keep your life active as much as you are active. So, granted, younger children, it's an adventure, but adult children, it's a whole new ball of wax. So there's that constant learning from all ages. But life itself gives us all of those lessons. I don't know that lessons, it's opportunities,
Mhm. Mhm.
to stretch ourselves. And I think that sometimes it's easy to lose track of the self-care in the midst of seeming chaos.
Yeah, totally. You were just talking about the issue when I went to the University of Santa Monica, which was a spiritual psychology program. The founders of the program used to say, how you deal with the issue is the only issue. So I think it's so important. It's like, for me, that's like, how awake are you? How conscious are you in what is going on in your life and the choices that you're making? So it's like, if I'm tweaked or triggered or whatever I'm going through, then it's like, okay, well, how is this, how I really want to respond? Is this really how I want to show up in the world? Is this really how I want to treat other people?
And it takes discipline. It takes mental, physical, and emotional understanding of ourselves to show up as who we want to.
Yes.
Who do I choose to be today? It takes mental consciousness. It's a
Mhm.
consciousness of seeing how I'm acting and not reacting.
That's right. And it's easy to go back to sleep. There's lots of distractions out here. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff pulling on us energetically from every direction. But the more you can stay in your center, the more you can stay awake, the more you can be conscious of what you're saying and thinking and speaking and transmitting. I mean, it makes all the difference. The universe will show you right away how you're responding, because it mirrors it back to you.
And we know because of our emotions.
Right.
I consider emotions, I say it all the time, it's our rumble strip of life. If we're in joy and we're happy, we're in the center of the lane. And if we're veering off, we start getting that rumble strip. That's where it's not as comfortable to drive on. And, seek alternate route, hear it in your voice, hear that voice just like the GPS does, seek alternate route. When the emotions start getting volatile, it's learning how to adapt. Just like we see traffic and we know another way, we get off the highway. Well, life needs to be that way, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually connected, so that we can give ourselves a little more time or adjustment in whatever weird place we need.
Yeah. It's really true. It's like becoming clear. One of the reasons I created emotional integration, which is the work I do with people and I train coaches in, is that we have to have tools to learn how to recognize emotions, how to interact with them, how to honor them, how to transform them, so that they're not running us and hijacking our lives and our relationships and our finances. You know, it's a process, because every aspect of us deserves attention and loving.
And that right there is a mouthful, because it's, do we know we're worthy of it? Because
Mhm.
if we do not feel worthy, if I do not feel and know the truth of who and whose I am, I'm not going to attract the abundance I think I'm calling for. I am only attracting that what I think I'm worthy of. So it's really being mindful of, how do I really feel about myself, so that I can create the life that I choose to, that I know I'm worthy of.
Yeah, but see, that's why spiritual teachers and healers and guides and counselors are essential,
Yes.
because our culture doesn't take us there. We don't learn it in school. A lot of us don't learn it in our homes. We need mirrors reflecting back to us this truth that we're worthy, that we matter, it's why I wrote my upcoming book. It's like the book is called Does My Voice Matter? And it's really about getting people to understand that every aspect of them, every part of their expression, whether it's sung or spoken or painted or dressed, whatever it is, every aspect of them matters. And so for me, I am so grateful for my teachers. I am so grateful for the journey that I have been on, and the people that came in and said, you know, you belong, you're important, you matter. And I feel like if I can give that to people, and if the people that I have supported can give to people, that's how we transform the planet. That's how we transform the people, is what we begin to step into the wholeness of who we are.
And this is coming out in September. I just
Yeah.
wanted to mention this is going to be out in September, which is wonderful. And you're going to come back before then. We're going to
I
have you back to talk a little bit more about it before then. And I also wanted to mention, this is your best-selling book, I Choose Me. Now,
Yeah.
what's this about?
It's the subtext is the art of being a phenomenally successful woman at home and at work. And when my social media team started looking, they said, "Are you aware that close to 80% of the people that follow you are women?" I was like, "No," and they said, "Maybe you should be talking to them." And so that's how this book. I interviewed some people, and they brought people in, and so it was really to say, it doesn't matter how you show up as the feminine on this planet. It's like you can be phenomenal wherever that is, by choosing yourself first, getting clear about what you think, getting clear about how to love yourself, how to honor yourself. And so I was grateful, because it was number one in 3 categories on Amazon. And I really grateful, because I really think that the reason that that happened was because I listened to my team, and I sent the message out to the people that needed it, and they bought the book.
Where it's, everyone needs somebody, and it's sometimes we get caught up in the should, would, coulds, and sometimes we can be thrown completely off by those same should, would, coulds. And at any given moment, life throws us things. And I want to bring up, because I think it's too important not to. Again, I want to say we're live. If anyone has comments, we'd love for you to you can put any comments or questions in there. We'd love to hear from you. And I wanted to bring up the tragedy from 2 days ago in Uvalde, Texas.
Mhm.
And the fact that it's not the first, it's not the 21st, it's not, we've gone through so much tragedy before our eyes. And it's important that we do react horrifically. It's important that we do not lessen what this really is in front of our eyes, because we can become desensitized and and, and not know, or pretend, or whatever it is. So it's important. And in perspective, what do we do with it? Because the victim role will never serve in
Mhm.
anything in life. So the question is, how, when you heard about this, when you see, how do you come to terms with it?
Well, first of all, I feel the feelings. My heart felt broken. I felt sad. I felt angry and disappointed. I felt baffled at how we can be this country that is number one in mass shootings in the world. And I, the thing is like, I understand that people want to have rights, and I understand that people are connected to the Second Amendment. I get all of that. But, military rifles that kill people in 20 seconds, why does anybody need that? And so what I went through within myself was that it's like people, yes, everybody has the right to take care of themselves and to bear arms if that's what they need. But children have the right to go to school and feel safe. Parents have the right to take their kids to school and know that their kids are going to come home. Black people have the right to go to the store in Buffalo, New York, and not be murdered. People have the right to go to worship. I
Just
guess,
days before, just
yeah,
days, we're seeing like so much, and it is just, it's important that we see, we actually look and we realize that it is time. And I am a one of the things that frustrates me is you have people that say this isn't the time for this. It's not the time to be, we need to just be, let people heal. No, we need to make sure that there's not more people to heal. It is a time for change. We do have power.
right.
And it's learning how to look at, we're a society that created an 18-year-old that could create this atrocity, that purposely went into an elementary school to do maximum carnage.
Yes,
That it was available for this 18-year-old boy to be able to buy, you know, automatic weapons at 18 years old, days after his birthday. And he had two, like he bought two on different days from the same place.
right.
And we need to look at what are we doing and how do we do it differently.
Well, here's the thing. You know, we do need to pray because I think prayer is essential. Pray for peace, pray for shift, change. But I also think we have to get clear about the fact that apathy is what got us here. Our culture became apathetic and thought, well, somebody else will do it, and somebody else will do it, and somebody else will do it. So we stopped voting, we stopped showing up, and so then, a small percentage of people can then move into power. And because I think I was listening to something the other day that there are 50 senators that are blocking it
Yes.
shifts, right? When 90% of the nation wants at least background checks. But the thing is like, if I don't get out and vote, if I don't get out and not party line, if I don't get out and vote my conscience, what I feel is right for the country, what I feel is right for our children, what I feel is right for women, if I don't do that, if I don't enter into places and organizations that have the same values as me, then I am saying what is going on is okay. And for me, it's not. It's like I have to take some action aside from the praying, which is an essential part of my life. I have to take some action to take a stand for humanity, to take a stand for children, to take a stand for women, to take a stand for people of color in this country.
Ernest Holmes said, treat and move your feet.
Mhm.
It wasn't sit back and wait for it to happen. The law happens through us. It's through us, not for us, through us. So, in addition to praying, it is doing. And, I wanted to make sure that we touch on the hard stuff, because there's no path to joy when we're stuck in denial, or grief. There's no path to joy when we are numb to truth. And
No, it's really interesting. Yesterday was the second anniversary of George Floyd being killed. I grew up 6 blocks from where was killed. I and what was going on there. I mean, my neighborhood, we all were aware of the brutality and the stuff that was happening. We were all told, keep your mouth shut, don't fight the police. We were all told that. But the thing is, it's like every time there's a George Floyd or there's something else that goes on, I believe the universe is saying, where do you stand? What do you want? I was on a call the other day and a woman said she was embarrassed that she was feeling apathetic because these shootings have become the norm. And so we were having a big discussion in this group about the fact that we can't afford to be apathetic. We can't afford to feel powerless. We can't afford to not bring our voices, whether people like it or not, or we're afraid of being bullied or targeted on social media or whatever. We cannot afford to not bring our voices and say what is right. Children deserve to live. They didn't ask to come here. They deserve to live. They deserve to be educated. They deserve to be nurtured. We've got all these trans and LGBTQ kids who are terrified. They're afraid they're going to be murdered, harassed. I mean, why? Because they're just being themselves. We have to stand up and say, no, 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 no. Every person deserves the right to be who they are, who they came here to be, because they're all divine emanations.
yes, 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 and yes. And on your website and all of the things, your materials, one of the things that you repeat again and again is that you are a champion for change. And that's what it comes down to. Be the change you wish to see in the world. The two shows that I host here are Finding the Joy in the Journey, because I believe joy is the purpose of being here. That's why we're here. If you're not going to enjoy it, you're wasting it. And the other is the Peace Circle, because I wish to see peace in the world, but I can't do it if I'm not being it. And I never knew how. I never knew what peace meant. No one, I grew up East Boston, inner city Boston. I didn't know there was no quiet time. I went to sleep with the radio because it was literally deafening for me to sit in quiet, because it happened so rarely that it was difficult for me to be in quiet for most of my life. So after this teaching, after being through, the truth and living in that light, I I want to stay in that light. I want to teach that light. And sometimes it takes walking our way through the pain to get to the truth of who I truly am as a child of divine, with all that divine has to offer. I have that. I am that. And I know that of me. I know that of each one. But if I don't remind myself of it, I forget.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. But isn't that the spiritual practice?
Mm,
That's the spiritual practice, is to stay awake, to remind yourself, to do what you need to do to feed your soul, to stay awake and to take action and to be conscious in the world in every way, shape, and form.
and it gets easier. I want to, if anyone's listening and you think, well, that's a tall order, I have to pay attention to all of that. I need to champion all of that. It all gets easier when we get used to choosing our path and living our joyful purpose. It all gets easier. I think I know people that don't have faith, and my heart breaks for them. Like, I can't imagine at the end of the day, I don't care how bad it may seem, I rest my head on faith. I live on the life raft of faith, knowing that there's a there here, and there's a blessing in everything, and there's a purpose. and knowing that through it all, Spirit's got me and Spirit's got all of it. I can't imagine not having that life raft.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. What you're talking about is a deep spiritual knowing, but I think everyone has faith, but they don't have necessarily faith in the things that will nurture their souls. They have faith in the material world. They have faith in money. They have, faith in, certain media channels. They have, they have, they have faith in things that do not remind them that we're connected.
That
You know,
oneness.
yes. And if anybody hurts over here, they hurt over there. You know what I mean?
Yes.
There's no separation,
There is no us or them.
that's right.
It's all of us, always. And that in truth, I cannot harm anyone without harming me.
That's right.
And even if you just believe in karma, that's true.
That's right.
Even if that's all you believe in. But we get a choice. And we are enough. And I want to take this time is to play your song at this point, just being me. Can you introduce it a little bit? Can you tell us how you ended up?
So my new album comes out this summer, and I worked with these amazing producers that really supported my creativity. And that's the CD. It's called Chosen. Just Being Me was, I just was invited to download feelings, thoughts, needs, and desires, and to see what music wanted to come out of it. So Just Being Me was one of the first ones that came through. It's like, that's why I came. I came to be me. My most powerful, most dynamic, most enlivened self. And so that's where the song came from.
So we're going to play that, and I'm going to play that now. Perfect timing to lighten us up a little bit and be in this place of knowing that perfection, that allness. So here we go.
No matter what the circumstance, no matter what the pain, I'm here to live a life of love. I got everything to gain. I was born to be a winner. I was born to be free. I was born to be the answer by really being me. So no matter how the pain arrives, no matter how I feel, inside of me there is a light to guide the path to heal. I was born to be a winner. I was born to be free. I was born with the answer of really being me. Now I'm living in a space of a joyful dance. I do not see an end. I'm moving through this life with a smile on my face. I have no more need to pretend. No matter what relationship push me to the wall. No matter what relationship I have an inner call. I was born to be a winner. I was born to be free. Born with the answer, really being me. The circumstance, no matter what the pain, I'm here to live a life of love. I got everything to gain. was born to be free. I was born to be the answer by really being me. Shut and be that. Really being me, but it's really being me. Really being me.
How wonderful is that? Absolutely. I love it. I love it. How
Good.
fun. Your music is all so beautiful and uplifting.
Thank you. So it was so much fun to do. I hadn't done an album in 8 years, and it was so fun to work with the Brothers Core, and they were the producers. And we worked for 8 months on the music. I went to Ojai and recorded it, and it was just really it was so wonderful because they never pushed anything. They said, "What wants to come through you?" And
Mm,
I, yeah, yeah, that's the way to do an album.
absolutely. And this, I just want to make sure people know it is coming out. It's chosen and it's coming out June 2nd, I believe, right?
Just Being Me comes out June 2nd.
Okay.
The whole album gets released on August 1st. But if you go to my website and it says celebrate, you can click on it and you can sign up and you'll get notices for the first 2 singles. And then I'm having an online launch party on August 1st, and everybody's invited to meet the producers, talk about the songs, and dance to the music.
How wonderful. It's a great day. It's my birthday, August 1st.
Oh, happy birthday.
A wonderful day. Absolutely. Celebrating. I love it. So it's wonderful the ways that you have created different avenues for you to be able to share your gifts. It doesn't have to be one. It doesn't have to be you're sharing from your heart space in your writing, in your workshops, in your podcast, even. I want to mention to people if you're just getting here, because people are joining from all different times, from all different places, we are blessed to have Reverend Cynthia James here, and we are live. So if there's questions or any questions at all, any comments, we'd love to hear from you. Know that we are absolutely live. But you have a Women Awakening podcast. And I wanted you to just mention that if you can.
Yeah, so we've been up for 3 years now. We're on Spotify and iTunes and iHeart, Spreaker, um, Spotify. The thing that's great about it is that I spend 30 minutes a week interviewing women from all walks of life, all cultures, all ages. But each woman, the common thread is that they've all stepped into their power on some level. And it looks different. It comes out differently, but each one of them has said yes to their life. And I wanted women to see possibility. I wanted them to see that there are women all over the world that are doing incredible things just because they said yes to themselves. And so um, I love it. You can just subscribe anywhere and just come and listen. The women inspire me. They lift my soul.
And again, it's a Women Awakening podcast. And
Yes.
people can go on to Spotify, or you said iTunes, and you can sign up for that.
Spreaker.
Women Awakening. So that is wonderful. And it is important to know that, far too often we were almost pinned against each other. If you were successful, then it minimized me. But that's the opposite. What you show me you can do gives me options.
Yes.
When I
Yeah.
see someone's success and them doing something, it shows me, okay, well, is that what I want? But if not, if they can do that, I can do that. Because
Yeah.
spirit is this within each one. That same spirit of possibility, of power, of strength, of love, of joy, of inspiration is within each one of us. And we each have a calling. And each one is different, but just as important.
Well, yeah, Tony Robbins always says model the people that inspire you.
Mm,
And So I don't think there is any competition. I think that I don't care if 3,500 people have done this thing over here. You can go over here and do it in this way, your way, that's unlike anybody else has ever done. So look at the people that inspire you, learn from them, take
Absolutely.
their classes, do whatever, and then bring your version of your best self forward.
We each have our own language, our own culture, our own background, and it will resonate with different people. There may be something that I say or you say that you say it differently, and someone hears it and it really clicks. And that's why we do what we do, because we want people to know we're not the exception. Actually, Jesus taught us he didn't come here as just as God. He came to teach us that the least among you can do what I do and greater,
Yes.
and it doesn't have to be in any way a competition, and there's no limit to the good. It's just showing us different ways of doing things, and it's okay that we're not great at everything. We're not supposed to be.
That's right. That's right. And the thing is that you will evolve. We're evolutionary. So what you did great 10 years ago, something else may want to emerge now that takes you away from that. I think transition is our friend, change is our friend. And it's like you get to, if there's a calling within you, there's a reason, pay attention to it. And, everybody who wants to write a book doesn't have to be a bestseller, but that message, that energy, somebody needs it.
You cannot live a fulfilled life if you're not listening for your calling.
That's right.
It's that simple. All the stuff in the world that you may own doesn't fill us. To be fulfilled, we have to use the gifts we're here to use. We can be in joy regardless of circumstance. I learned that lesson at the toughest time of my life. My sister was actually dying of cancer, and my father was in the hospital, and my mom, dad, and sister were stage 4 cancer in a year. And there were moments of joy in the midst of it. And I realized if in the midst of all of this, what horrible tragedy at times was going on in my life, I could still experience joy, then it was always accessible. And I felt a little crazy at that point because I'm like, I felt guilty for feeling okay in moments.
Yes.
But the truth is it's there for a reason. And it is those moments, that light within us, that can get us through anything. That's the flashlight. That is spirit helping us, guiding us, leading us, lifting us. And we have the ability to use it. So I am so grateful for your light, because you are someone that helps bring that out of people in amazing ways. And I thank you for every bit of your gift, from your beautiful voice and your meditations that help me connect with myself, to the teachings and the podcast and the purpose behind it all. Because you're also on Shift Network. I just wanted to mention that you have webinars on Shift Network. And one of them that in particular, that really, to transform fear transform the fear and claim your sovereignty in uncertain times. In other words, it doesn't matter if you're in fear right now. It doesn't matter what's going on outside. We can change the inside. And there's so much power in that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm going to be doing a whole class for the Shift Network next year on helping people find their voices. And so I'm looking forward to that. I love what they do, and I love all the material that they give.
Absolutely. So thank you. Thank you for all of that. And I just want to mention that we are here on this network because, we are bringing good news to the world. So I want to just make sure you know that you can go to ntmedia.org to donate and continue to help us bring that light. This network is, every cent of this goes to more shows, more programming, and also to the radio station that goes with it as well. We have, New Thought Radio, And all of this is free, and we're bringing it all to people that may never be near a center. So they may not know what New Thought is, but they can click on one day and it's good news. So like the shows, follow the network, and send the links to people. If there's something that you've heard that you think somebody could use, definitely take the time and do that. And also I want to mention this prayer here every day. We have a prayer team that is amazing. 8:15 Mountain Time, AM and PM, 10:15 where I am on the East Coast. So wherever you are, there's a prayer team that prays 7 days a week, AM and PM, and is always here for you. So remember that. Remember that you are not alone in this world, and that we are here to help in any way we can. I also wanted to mention resources at your people can go to you, and there's all of your books, your recordings, so much there. So you also have a giveaway for people as well. So I encourage people to go to cynthiajames.net and definitely sign up. And I want you to look for us also on CSL. Boston is here 5 p.m. on this network. We are here every Sunday. You can see our Sunday service 5 p.m. for CSL Greater Boston. And
Janice, hello.
there we go. Love this uplifting and inspiring conversation and New Thought Media Network. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here with us. And that's what we're here for. We bring the love, we bring the light, and we bring the world up as we do it. So thank you so much for being here with us. I'm just very grateful. And, any comments, any final words for our audience today?
I will tell you all what I tell the women on my podcast. You are a masterpiece. You are magnificent and unrepeatable. So whatever it is that's calling you, say yes, and the universe will sync up with you and show you how.
Love it. Love it. And know you can reach out to me anytime. And I would love to hear from you. Any comments, suggestions, or even prayer requests. Know that we're here. We love you. We know the truth of you. And we can't wait to watch you shine even brighter. Thank you for being here. Namaste. Blessings and love to all.